We are following breaking news in South Seattle where 2 people are dead. 3 have been wounded after a shooting at a homeless encampment. Right now, detectives are searching for who they call 2 persons of interest.
Tonight, 2 of the victims are in critical condition. The shooting happened in a wooded area near the intersection of Airport Way South and South Atlantic Street, west of I-5. You can see that here on your screen. We begin with Keene 5's John Langler, who is live at the scene.
I got time for one more, guys. Last one. Who's still out there searching for the suspects at this hour?
We have our real-time, the Seattle Police Department Real-Time Crime Center activated. They're working furiously right now to help identify potential suspects, suspect locations. Our homicide unit is conducting interviews of witnesses at this point. We have our SWAT team still here on the scene. We have our anti-crime teams from different precincts that we've mobilized to this area. Seattle police officers in general out on patrol are on the lookout for these potential suspects. So everybody's working very hard at this point. We also appreciate the help that we received earlier and will continue to receive from King County and from the Washington State Patrol.
And there could be more than 2?
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Could there be more than 2 suspects?
There are at least 2. Unknown at this time.
All right, once again, John Langler here in South Seattle, as we're just wrapping up a pretty expansive and rather interesting press conference involving Seattle Mayor Ed Murray, the Police Chief Kathleen O'Toole. You can see them walking away. We're at the scene of this shooting, as I think you mentioned here in Soto, in a homeless encampment called the Jungle. 2 people are dead. 1 male, 1 female, 3 people injured. 2 of those injured are in critical condition. Now, this happened as the mayor was discussing the situation with the homeless here in Seattle. And he just said a few moments ago, essentially, he thought as he was giving this speech, if he should have acted sooner to declare the state of emergency here. Here is the news conference that just wrapped up from the beginning.
Earlier this evening, in a homeless encampment, there was a tragic shooting that has involved multiple victims. This is an active crime scene, and in a moment, Chief Kathleen O'Toole will fill you in on the details. I just want to reiterate what I said earlier tonight in my live broadcast to the people of the city of Seattle. We are involved in a homeless crisis, the like that we have not seen since the Great Depression. The executive order was not a gimmick. It was an actual plea that Seattle by ourselves could not deal with this crisis. It was an actual plea to the state and federal government to assist us. The area behind us on state right-of-way, commonly called the Jungle, has been unmanageable and out of control for almost 2 decades. I spoke with the governor and with the county executive, and all 3 governments in the next 48 hours will launch an assessment of state right-of-way connected to I-5 to the city of Seattle. That assessment will be coordinated by our fire chief, Harold Scoggins. When that assessment is completed and we understand better how we can finally take control of the situation, we will make that information available to you. So let me reiterate, this is a tragedy. It involves homeless people, and the causes of homelessness are complex. There is no simple answer, and this is not the time to go back into our individual camps and start firing at each other. This is a time for us to actually, once again, together to try and solve this crisis in this city. But I want to reiterate this. This city, no city in America, can deal with a crisis this large without our state and federal partners stepping up. Chief O'Toole.
Thank you, Mayor. Some of the information that I'll provide, I'll reiterate comments that Chief Murner made earlier. At approximately 7:20 this evening, officers from our South Precinct responded here to a call for shots fired. They were assisted by King County sheriffs and also by the Washington State Patrol. They discovered on arrival that 5 people had been hit by gunfire. One person was declared deceased at the scene. Another person was declared deceased at Harborview Medical Center following transport by the Seattle Fire Department. 3 other victims remain at Harborview in critical condition. We understand 2 are in surgery at this point. We do have at least 2 persons of interest. We believe this was a targeted incident. We have no reason to believe anyone else is in danger at this point, but we have sent officers from our anti-crime teams from different precincts to neighboring locations, to neighboring encampments, to check on the well-being of people who may be there, and also to reassure them at this time. So again, we have no reason to believe there's any ongoing danger at this point. We have several witnesses to the incident, and the witnesses are being, several witnesses to the incident. The witnesses are being questioned now by our homicide detectives, and we're hoping that those will be productive interviews. But again, we do have some persons of interest, and at such time we can share names or photos, we will. We're not in a position to do that yet because we want to make sure that we interview the witnesses prior to that. So that's all at this point, and I'll turn it over to Chief Scott.
So a lot to digest there from a rather interesting press conference. But again, just to recap where we are here in Soda, the 1400 block of Airport Way South. About 7 o'clock, a shooting up in the jungle, a homeless encampment, 2 dead, 3 injured. 2 of those injured are now in critical condition. This happening as the mayor is giving a speech on the homeless situation, the state of emergency here. And as he said at the very end of this press conference, the fact that this happened, ironically, as he's giving that speech, immediately made him question whether he should have acted sooner. More on this later on this evening, but for now, live in Seattle, John Langler, King 5 News.
The shooting victims were rushed to Harborview Medical Center, where one of them died.
King 5's Natalie Swaby continues our live team coverage from the hospital with the latest on the 3 people who were wounded.
Oh, we did just receive another update from a spokesperson here at Harborview Medical Center about 15 minutes ago. We do know those 3 patients undergoing surgery tonight. We have 2 critical patients, 1 man, 1 woman. We have a 3rd female patient who is in serious condition. And we're told these victims came in with gunshot wounds to the chest, the abdomen, and the back. Now, as you mentioned, there was that 4th patient, a male who arrived here, but he did not survive. We did speak with Susan Craig here with Harborview Medical Center earlier tonight, and she said the victims started to show up right around 7:50 this evening.
We've had a lot of things go on in the past few years, from Marysville shooting to Racer Cafe. So, you know, we're the trauma center for 4 states. This is what we do.
And she went on to say that it is so alarming that they continue to see cases like this, but she says they have the resources in place and they were ready for what arrived here tonight. We are also told that 3 patients that are here are going to be in surgery probably until midnight, so we won't receive an update on their conditions until the morning. We'll continue to monitor things here at the hospital. For now, I'll send it back to you. Live in Seattle, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.